Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to another NBA Prize Picks Player Props live stream. It is me, Chavez. I am back. We are back from the weekend. I hope your weekend treated you well. I hope your Saturday was better than my Sunday. Sunday was a debacle. Just terrible picks, terrible reads, terrible plays, terrible slips, lighting money on fire. MLK would not want me to light my money on fire, but I thought in appropriate fashion, we start off with a great quote from a great man. Happy MLK Day to everybody. Love this quote. Applicable to any situation, applicable to life, applicable to everything. So I hope this stream finds you doing well. I hope this holiday finds you doing well. You got the day off from work. Enjoy. You got a lot of sports today. Got early NBA. We got two NFL playoff games today. So we got a lot going on in the world of sports. So hopefully you got your plan set for today, and we're ready to talk some NBA player props over on Prize Picks, over on Underdog, over on wherever you want to play, wherever you do play. Hit that like button on your way in. I need to say that at least 20 times during a live stream. Hit that like button on your way in. Hit the like button on your way out if you don't hit it on your way in. Helps out the channel a lot. Truly helps the channel out a lot. We got 10 people watching. Should have 9 likes. 10 likes. Real simple math there. All right. Got Victor on the cover here, thumbnail cover here. I think he's in a good spot for a few of his props, inclusive of his turnovers. But we could talk about Victor. See everybody starting to get their props into the chat. What's going on, Damian? Good morning. Tamika, good morning. Divine Miles, good morning to you as well. True Allah, peace be with you, sir. Jalen Duren, double. Victor Wembanyama, double. Vooch, double. Mike Evans, anytime touchdown. And Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown. I know you're not playing Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown on Prize Picks, right? Because they don't have that. It's too easy of an over. Where are you playing that? They would have his anytime touchdowns. They'd have him 1.5 touchdowns. Too big of a piece of that offense, especially without AJ Brown in the lineup tonight. Yeah, AJ Brown is not playing. Last I saw, he is out with that knee injury. So do the Eagles lean more on the run? Is it Jalen Hurts time? There is no like being safe with Jalen Hurts in this game. This is like win or you go home. What a drop off from Super Bowl runner up to wild card and you are out. That's a hell of a 180 for the Eagles. But yeah, I think the Eagles need to pull out all stops because the Buccaneers are not effing around. They're trying to win. Baker Mayfield's trying to win. All right. So we haven't done a live stream since Friday. Took the weekend off. However, I was pretty active in the Discord over the weekend. Did a few kitchen chats, opened up the kitchen in the Discord, did a few live chats in the Discord, talked about a few plays, and then decided to do a private stream with the Discord yesterday. So Discord exclusive yesterday. Went about 2 hours yesterday. 2 hours answering questions, building out some slips. Not a huge turnout, but it was fun. So not sure I'll be able to do that every Sunday, or at least not do 2 hours every Sunday. Maybe shorten that up to 45 minutes or so. But that was fun. So we did a lot. I wish our slips would have did better. We were all cooking a little bit and contributing. So It is like that sometimes. You have great days and then you have bad days. Try to get all the losses out the way in one day so that you don't have any losses for the rest of the week. I wish it worked like that. If you told me I had one day a week where I was just going to lose everything and then the rest of the week would be green, I'd say, yeah, sign me up for that shit. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So we'll talk Wemby today. We'll talk, we got some point props in here. Brandon Ingram, VanVleet, Trey points, Steph points. You got Zion rebounds, Trey threes under, LaVine over rebounds and assists, Capella under rebounds and points. Got a lot of props already in the chat. AOD, let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. Why not? Let's go get it. It's not coming to us. We got to go get it. So last stream we did Friday, picks did not go according to plan. Vooch did not record a single block or steal. In fact, he had one taken away from him. So he had one going into the half, and at the beginning of the third quarter, it got removed. Stat correction. So he did not record another block or steal for the rest of the game. So that was very deflating. Very, very deflating. In what I thought was a really good spot for him. Just not so much. The next game he played was fantastic. So bounce back spot. Going right back to him. Should have went right back to him. Neesmith did work out for us. Took the over his threes on Friday. That really worked out for us. It wasn't even a sweat. I think he had 3. He had 1 in the first quarter. He may have hit this by halftime, if I'm not mistaken. But 1-1 with those plays. 1-1 don't win anything. I could easily be like, oh, I'm just gonna show you the play that hit and be like, oh yeah, this play hit, like crop it out, But I played this in a 2-pick power and it didn't hit. So while the record is at 1-1, my slip was at $0. I didn't win any money off this slip. So only thing that matters in a 2-pick power are two wins. You have to win both of them. Otherwise, you didn't win. It's not a good slip. That 1-1 doesn't get it done. In the flex, you play 3-pick, 4-pick, 5, 6-pick flex. You can afford to lose 1, 2 times. 1 definitely gets you profit. 2 losses, you don't get profit. You don't win your money back on 2 out of 6. You get 40% of your entry fee, and you still lost money. So we want wins. So 1-1 on Friday doesn't get it done. If you're in the Discord, I posted a lot of slips in the Discord. Had a mini streak going of first half player props. Friday night I played a 6-pick first half player prop and hit 25x there. Went back to it on Saturday, ran it back, hit another 25x. Tried to do it on Sunday. Oh, it did not go as well on Sunday. So maybe take the day off today with first half player props and try to do it again. Maybe not. Maybe if I see enough value on the board for first half points, rebounds, assists, whatever. It's all about value. It's all about value. It's all about matchup. It's not about the player. You can't just say this player is like on fire. Or, you got to look at a few other things. Case in point, Keegan Murray yesterday, on fire. First half PRA, first half points, 3-pointers made. He didn't do shit the first half. Then gets hurt and got a DNP. So first half player props are a little risky. You don't have the upside. You don't have the full game to look at. So you got to be careful with who you play. But if you pick them right, if the prop is valuable enough, you will win. So that was fun. That was fun while it lasted. So two picks on Friday. We go 1-1. I don't have any pretty slides created for you for today, but I do want to skip on over to Prizepicks and just honestly just get right into this over on Prizepicks. So we got some player props in the chat to look at, but just get right to it here. Victor Wembanyama is in a good spot. Now I know a few of his props are favorited. 30 points and rebounds, 33 and a half points, rebounds, and assists. And I think, rebounds. So his rebounds are bumped from 9.5 to 10. So people are still playing this at 10. I know the Hawks are not a great rebounding team. So people are looking at that and just hammering the over. I'm sure people are hammering the over on his 30 points and rebounds. I think the Hawks have enough pieces in the front court to make it difficult for Victor Wembanyama to grab 12 plus rebounds. Maybe make it a little difficult for him to score over 21 points. I don't know. I like his turnovers today. It's an under the radar play that a lot of people don't like playing turnovers. I don't know if there's like an emotional attachment to players. You don't want to see them perform poorly. But players turn the ball over all the time. It's part of the game, and they still manage to score 40 points. So turning the ball over doesn't mean that you want them to do bad. But turnovers are a big part of the game. 2.5 turnovers for Victor. Also, his block shots are in play at 2.5. His blocks and steals are in play at 3.5. He can probably, we've seen him get 4+ blocks, and he would cover that blocks and steal prop. His rebounds and assists got bumped from 12.5 to 13.5. So you're playing it now. You're playing it at an increased line for Victor. 3-point prop is not up. I would have been interested in that one for sure. But what I'm personally interested in for Victor today is not going to be a popular play, but the under on his 30 points and rebounds, and then the over on his turnovers. That's some hater shit right there. I'm going under on his points and rebounds and going over on turnovers. Like, I really want this guy to have a bad game. I don't. But a couple of things, we'll go over to props.cash and look at it together. But his minutes are still a big concern for me. He's still not getting his full run of minutes unless Pop decides to unleash him today against the Hawks. It's just really, really difficult to look at the upside for him. Yes, he can get it done in limited time like he did against the Charlotte Hornets. The Hawks are a better team than the Charlotte Hornets, despite what they've been doing the last few games, just getting their ass kicked. He's not playing the Hornets every game. And then my second play, now this one was bumped up. I did get this in a 2-pick power. Was Kobe White. His points, rebounds, and assists were at 27.5 last night. Now they've been bumped up to 28.5. You can still play it at 28.5 if you want. But I played it at 27.5. It was the best line that you're going to see all day for him. This is not going to get bumped back down. I know for a lot of players are player prop enthusiasts. His points and assists, points and rebounds, those are also in play because he scores so many points that it leaves very little work for it leaves very little left for him to grab in the form of rebounds and assists. So he gets you 20 points, 21, 22 points, something along those lines. That only leaves 3 rebounds or 3 assists, which is pretty damn cool. So I know those are usually in play, but Kobe White's in a really good spot against the Cavaliers. And we can look at that over on props.cash. So we already got a full board of player props here on Prizepicks. We got Capella's points and rebounds, LaVine rebounds and assists. I think you all were looking at the under on Capella, over on LaVine, under on Williamson's rebounds. Was it under on Young? We going under on Curry? Correct me if I'm wrong. And then under on FVV. 17.5 points for Fizz. That's what we got so far. So let's see. Jim the Judge. What it do, Chavez? Salute to you, sir. Blessings to you as well. Definitely got that Kobe pick in. Kobe with a C. Kobe with a CY. All right. Think we have enough on the board. All right. This is what I'm going to attempt to do. Something I have not ever done on the chat before or on the stream before is time myself. I'm going to try to keep every interval that we do for player props under 10 minutes. So these 6 player props are going to get talked about in less than 10 minutes or less. Boom, 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 zoom, zoom. That's what we're trying to do here. So let's get it going. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go over to props.cash. If you have not yet signed up for props.cash, I will make mention of it in the stream. All my referral affiliate information is in all the descriptions of my streams and videos, but 25% off your first month on props.cash. Thanks 25 is the promo code. Sign up using that code. Save some money on your first month. If you don't like it after your first month, cancel it. And at least you save money on your first month. It is your one-stop shop for player prop research. You don't have to go to ESPN and StatMuse and do all this other shit. It's just all right here for you, right in your face. So I encourage you to think it over. Think it over. All right, I'm gonna shut up. Let's do this. Let's do. We're gonna go to ATL because we're gonna look up Wemby. We're gonna look up Trey, and then we're gonna look up who else was it? Capella. Ooh, I have a sneaky play for y'all for Capella. It does correlates very well with Wemby. Let's start there. Capella steals at 0.5 minus 139 to go over, plus 102 to go under. I like the odds, but I like the fact that he's very active on that side of the ball. And I like Wemby's turnovers. And I'm not saying that Capella is going to steal the ball from Wemby, but there's a possibility. So those two correlate very well together in the same game. But Capella's steals have been something I've played over the last few weeks, just depending on the matchup and depending on the odds. Odds are fantastic in favor of the over here. He's gone over this line in 2 out of his last 5, 4 out of his last 10. Listen, I know those hit rates aren't great. We're talking about steals. This is not like a given thing. In a basketball game, you already know guys are going to score, so points are going to happen. Steals and blocks aren't guaranteed. So this is still a pretty strong, game log here for Capella. Looking at his projections today, we can also look at those rebounds and points. He's only projected for 16, right under 17 points and rebounds. So we'll get into his points and rebounds here in a second. There you go, right there. In terms of his blocks and steals, he is projected for 0.65 steals, which is closer to 1 than it is to 0. It's definitely over 0.5. So you got a favorable projection there for his steals. Let's look at his points and rebounds. Liking the under on this one, 22.5 points and rebounds. Believe that's what it is on Prizepicks. Slight juice to the over here. However, game logs don't look great. 4 out of his last 5, 4 out of his last 10. 1 out of his last 5, 4 out of his last 10. He's gone over that. Against the Spurs this season, he has 1 game played. He went over with 21 points and rebounds back on the 30th of November. We can go back down here and look at his projections. He is projected for 16.91 points and rebounds. That's well under the 22 for Clint Capella. Tough matchup against Wemby and whoever else the Spurs want to roll out there in their front court. His rebounds, 10.5, also getting slighter juice to the under. Last game against the Spurs, he managed to only grab 9 boards over his last 10. He has hit this 5 out of his last 10, and he's hit this in 2 out of his last 5. Not the best odds here. Not the best night or best matchup for Clint. So, Clint Capella, let's look at Trae Young. Points. Liking the under on his points, I think that's what it was. 29.5 points for Trae Young. That's what he's at. Now, he's had some really, really good matchups, and he's failed to even sniff this. 13 against Indiana, 21 against Washington. That's back-to-back bad losses. Bad losses for the Hawks. We banned that whole team in the Discord. The whole team is banned until further notice. But Trae Young, just not a good stretch of games here. 1 out of his last 5, 3 out of his last 10. I mean, this is about as cake of a matchup as you can get with the San Antonio Spurs, giving up so many points per game, bottom of the league in points allowed. I mean, if there's ever a bounce back spot for Trae Young, I mean, I said the same shit against Washington. Like, damn, it doesn't get any better than this. Well, it actually does. He's playing the Spurs today. So taking the under on his points, you're getting a coin flip on the odds. You're getting these nasty game logs here where he's not really doing a whole lot. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I'm not sure why his shot's not falling or why he's not producing more. I want to take a look at his projections on the day versus the Spurs. He is only projected for 25 points, which is basically 5 below his prop today. I'll quickly show what point guards have done. He is a point guard, right? Point guards against the Spurs, you had the Sumu go over, LaMelo Ball go over. LaMelo Ball would have went over Trae Young. No. You're looking for 30 points today. No guard over the last 10 games versus the Spurs has scored 30 points. Nobody. Not Sexton, not Scoot, not Ja. Nobody. So despite the Spurs giving up a lot of points, they're not giving up 30 a game to the guards. So upon further view, doesn't look like Trae Young is in such a great spot despite the matchup being what it is. It's a coin flip. You want to take the over on it, you got supporting data. If you want to take the under on it, you got more supporting data. But I definitely see the logic in taking the under on this point, especially he's in a slump. You just want to kick him while he's down. They say when a man falls, you should help him up. Some people say you should kick him back down. So if you're taking the under on Trae Young today, you're definitely kicking him back down. All right, we did Trae, we did Clint, we went over Wemby. Let's go over to New Orleans. We got a couple plays from New Orleans. I believe Zion's rebounds were talked about in the chat. Let's see. Divine, I'm not comparing Sexton to Trae. I'm just reading the numbers off, man. Would you compare Ja's closer to Trae? Ja didn't get his point prop either, man. It's just the numbers. It's just the stats. Just read them off. Rebounds for Zion, 6.5 minus 122 on the under here. 6 straight games of going under Zion with his rebounds here. Head-to-head matchup with the Dallas Mavericks. He has 1 game over, 1 game under so far this season. So split those games. There are a lot of dudes grabbing rebounds in New Orleans. You got Jonas, you got Larry Nance back in the picture. I mean, you know, Ingram can crash the glass a little bit. McCollum's a pretty decent rebounding guard as well. So it's a lot of competition for boards for Zion. Unless one of those dudes is out, it's like it's crowded. Looking at his projections here, 6.15. I mean, he's projected for the hook with his rebounds. You're getting favorable odds here on the under, minus 122. So I think this is in play for sure for Zion. Unless this shit goes to overtime and then you just throw everything out the window. That extra 5 minutes really hurts. It really hurts, man, if you take the unders on players. If you take the over on players, it's perfect. It's exactly what you want. They haven't hit their prop yet. Give them another 5 minutes. See if they can do it. All right, let's look at Brandon Ingram. Was it Brandon Ingram's points? Let's see. I hear you, Devon, but I'm not making those projections up. Those projections are from props.cash. So like these projections down here, when we look at these projections, these are all props.cash projecting out the player. They're baking everything into this game. Like they know Trae Young's playing the Spurs. They know Trae Young is in a slump and all that stuff. So for some reason, they have Trae Young going under his points. Now, sometimes they can be wrong. I'm not saying that the projections are gospel that, oh, well, they say so, I guess it's right. We saw some really off projections yesterday for De'Aaron Fox. We added up his points and everything, and it had him going under his fantasy points of 42. And he was right there at 40-ish, and then they go to overtime. So the projections can't factor in everything. So they missed that one. That one stood out to me for De'Aaron Fox. So yeah, and I always say, like, if you're looking at this data and you don't like something, or if something doesn't sit right with you, go against it. I've gone against the grain many times. Like, I've seen projections that I just didn't agree with. I've seen odds that I just didn't agree with. And I decided, I'm going to do the opposite because that's what I think is going to happen. And that works out too. And then sometimes it doesn't. So at the end of the day, I say go with what you feel is best, despite all the, other things. Because at the end of the day, then you can live with you making a bad decision. But the worst feeling is you doing something you didn't want to do, and then having that at the end of the day thinking, I knew I shouldn't have done that, or I knew I shouldn't have listened to that person. That's the worst feeling. I've been there plenty of times. All right, so Ingram under points. Or was there Ingram over points? Divine, you put that one in there, man. You said Ingram points over under. We're going to look at it. 6 straight games are going under his points here. He had 3 games in a row before hitting this nasty little slump here. Head-to-head matchup with the Mavs. Really good. He's kind of owned them this season, 20 and 25. Back-to-back games of 20-plus points for Brandon Ingram against the Mavericks. Projected for 17 points today against the Mavericks. It's a little low. A little low on the projections. Something you can also do, there are plenty of publications out there that give out free projections, or you can pay for them, whatever you want to do. Sometimes what you can do is just go to multiple sites and just see what other publications have that projection, and then just kind of do an average. So like maybe maybe you find some discrepancies and it gives you enough data to like take the over or under on a player. I've done that a few times, especially at MLB, like pitcher fantasy points. I've done that a few times. So that's another thing you can do, is just kind of like look in other places and do a quick average of what three sites are saying this player is going to do for the day. But Ingram plays the Mavs really well. So this might be a nice spot for him to get back on track. Or does he make it 7 straight games of going under points? I don't know. So we got Steph Curry, Fred VanVleet, LaVine. All right, let's go on to Steph. Steph Curry points. Are we looking at over under on his points? 104 to go over, minus 122 to go under. 4 straight games of going under here. He hooked it in his last game, and 2 games prior to that. But this is kind of like sandwiched in the middle of these 4 games of going under. This is kind of crazy. It's almost the exact same scoring pattern. If you look at this, interesting. Head-to-head matchup with the Grizz. Grizz are super undermanned. They don't have Smart. They don't have Ja. They were bringing Jaren Jackson off the bench last game. I don't even know did he play. When I looked at the box score, he was coming off the bench. I don't know if that was him coming off the bench or him just not playing and he was just out of the rotation. There's a lot of stuff going on in Memphis. The Warriors should have no problem putting this team away today. No games for this season for Curry, but you can see what he's done last season. 2 out of those 3 games. I don't think the Grizzlies are good in the West anymore. I think they're knocking on the door for a lottery pick this season. Looking at Curry's projections against the Grizz, lower projections, 21.73. Grizzlies giving up 113 points per game. You can look at this and say, does Curry need to score 28 points? We saw the Blazers keep it really, really close with the Suns. We've seen bad teams play good teams really well. They get up for those games against better teams. So, I mean, if the Grizzlies can keep this game somewhat close, Curry plays longer, he produces more, or maybe he's just on the floor facilitating. Maybe he's just on the floor, overseeing the offense. Does he need to score 28 points against the Grizzlies? I don't know. I definitely see the logic behind taking the under on this one. Like taking Curry's points when it's a competitive game where he has to shoot a lot, where he has to, even if a game where the Warriors might be down a little bit because Curry, wants to get him back in. Draymond's back tonight as well, I believe. So maybe that does take some usage away from Curry as well. I just blew by this 10 minutes. There's no way to get all this shit done in 10 minutes. I'm going to have to redo that time next time we do this. 10 minutes is way too short of a time to go through 10 player props. It's like a minute of player prop. All right. Zach LaVine. Looking at his rebounds and assists for sure is in play. Slight juice to the under. Little juice to the over. 3 straight games LaVine has gone over this since being back from his injury or whatever was going on with him. 20, 15, and 13. So he's kind of on this decline here, but he's kind of just going back to his average, right? Like on the year, he's averaging 9.3 in that 10 range. This was a little too much. This is not sustainable. I don't think 13 per game is sustainable. I think he lives in that 10 range, which is what you need from him today against the Cavs. Cavs allowing the 3rd fewest rebounds in the league, assists, and 8th fewest in rebounds in the league. So a tougher matchup for him. Again, head-to-head matchup for LaVine. No games to speak of this season, 1 out of 4 games. So not the best game log for LaVine. But he's so active on the court. And you're not getting, these aren't terrible odds. Honestly, you want him to look better. Maybe this is flipped around. Minus 120 would give you more confidence. Take the over on this one. For Zach LaVine's rebounds and assists. But this is worth looking at. So, been very, very active on the floor. These 2 games, maybe the game against San Antonio, you saw that coming. Golden State. I mean, the way the Bulls played them for most of the game, even though they lost. I mean, they played them pretty well. The Houston game, that's a little bit surprising because Houston's got a tougher defense, and Zach LaVine was able to grab 20 rebounds and assists. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Fred VanVleet. Divine says Trey's getting 30 to 35. Play the over then, man. Play the over. All right. VanVleet, 17.5 points. Gone over this in 3 out of his last 5, 5 out of his last 10, averaging 17 and 18 in those stretches. Projections show 15 points today. So if you're looking at playing the under on VanVleet's points, projections are in favor of that. If you want to play the over on his points, then disregard the projections and then focus on the game logs, focus on his odds right here. Matchup with the 76ers, Embiid is back today. 1 game against the 76ers. I believe Embiid was out in that game. 33 points against Philly. Define. You're not an idiot, man. You're not an idiot. You just have conviction, dude. You like a play? Look, I know what it feels like when you are on a play and other people are not, and it makes you question, like, oh shit, should I not play this? At the end of the day, all we got is our own word and our own research. Like if you can't like, be good with that, it feels weird, But if you got reason and you want to play something, I say play it, man. I hope he gets 30. I hope he gets 30 for sure. He needs to get back on track, man. He's been having shit games lately. Let's see. All right, Fred VanVleet. Pretty good game against Philly. You want to take a look at what point guards have done versus Philly in the last 10? We can do that as well. Fox got 21, which will get him over to 17.5, as did Trae Young. I'll go over that one. Some player named Trent Forrest. Hawks are going deep into their bench for sure. Sexton over, Brunson over, DeSumo goes over his line, but doesn't go over this line for Fred VanVleet. There's Fred VanVleet right there. A lot of players are going over player prop, but a lot of players are going over 17.5 points, which is what you want to see happen today if you're looking to take the over on VanVleet. But again, you're looking to take the under. Tougher matchup with Embiid back in. Embiid changes that defensive presence in a huge way. And then you got these projections to support the under for VanVleet. So there's VanVleet. And I think that is, we are done with that first round of player props. So let's head back over to the Prizepicks. Looking at the under on Capella. Over or under on Zach LaVine. Kind of a coin flip there based off what we just saw. Zion under. Trae Young over, under. Another coin flip here based off what we saw, but based off what we know his ceiling is. And then Steph Curry. Wait a minute. So Steph Curry's points are at 26.5. Why was it showing 28.5 over on props.cash? Huh. Well, it's showing 27.5, but he needs 28. Now it's at 26.5. Well, that changes his game logs up for sure. But again, I guess you have to ask yourself the question, will he be needed to score 27 points? Will he get there because Draymond is back and Draymond can take some of that ball handling away from Curry and, open things up? That's interesting now. That one is a little bit more interesting to me now that his line's at 26.5. All right. Well, Clint Capella just got bumped down to 21.5. So we just talked about taking the under on his points and rebounds. So if you want to rethink that, you think that he can get you 22 instead of getting you 23? You got something to toss around now. If you got the under on 22.5, that looks better now that they bumped it down for sure. All right, clearing this out. Mr. DraftKings, what's going on? The Kobe pick was 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That was early though. That was late last night as the props began to get put on the board. Kobe White was at 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And now it's at 28.5. So got a decision to make there. If you want to play the bump or if you want to look at something like his points and rebounds, points and assists, those lines are identical over on Prizepicks. Or you can look at his points at 18.5. Let's look at Kobe White because we looked at Zach LaVine. I should have looked at Kobe White as well. So looking at his points, 18.5. He's gone over this in 4 out of 5, 7 out of 10. Looking at his PRA, that's been bumped to 28.5. So at 27.5, it was getting pretty not strong odds, decent odds, minus 122 to the over. He had that bad game against San Antonio. I hope his usage rate remains high now that the Bulls are healthy again, or they have all their pieces back. LaVine, DeRozan, Vooch. He did a lot. He did a lot for that team when LaVine was out. I want to take a look at his projections. So if you're looking at playing his overs, these projections look really, really good for you. Projected for basically 20 points, projected for 29 PRA, and he's projected for 24 PR and PA. So all these numbers look really good. His head-to-head matchups with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, his last game played was this, about a month ago? He put up 28 PRA. These other games, you got to factor in that he was not in the role that he's in right now with the Bulls. So look at these minutes. He played 40 minutes against the Cavaliers that last game. But these other games, I'm sure he was coming off the bench in these games. He failed to record a game with 25 or more minutes. He took less than 10 shots each game. So it's really hard to look at this game log, and say like, oh, damn, he doesn't play them well. We don't know if he plays them well because we don't have a big enough sample size based off his current usage role. So I like his overs. If you still want to play the over on his current line at 27 or 28 and a half, I totally see the logic in that. But just know that it's been bumped and the best line was at 27 and a half. All right, let's see. What's going on, Big? Good morning to you. Mr. DraftKings. Kobe looks good on the over for sure. Yeah, a lot of his props look good. Anish, what's going on? I didn't see this one. What's going on? Good morning to you. Anish, what about Embiid, 37 points and assist? Let's see. All right, let's do another round of player props. So let's start it off with Embiid. Points and assist. $37.5. What else? What else? Brandon Ingram, points and rebounds. Brandon Ingram points and rebounds are at 24. Both his PA and PR. There you go. Let's see. We'll kick it off with those two. Trae Young, under 3-pointers made. Jim likes that one. We'll take a look at that one. 3-pointers made. I haven't even looked at 3-point props. I did late last night, but they didn't have very many on the board. They've added a lot. So there's Trae. Any other 3-point props y'all see that look good to y'all? Let me know. Under for Ingram. His points were at 19.5. There's a lot of data that supports the under for sure, but targeting players that are in slumps is smart, but you also know, we talk about it, what goes down must come up. So at some point, Ingram gets it going again and gets back to scoring 23 points a game. He's had really good games against the Mavericks. We saw that in his game logs. Back-to-back games this season, I believe, a 20-plus. but it's over his last 10 games. He just hasn't been doing a whole lot. So you got like conflicting information here. It's tougher to make that decision. If you want to go over 19 and a half, you think he gets you 20, gets back on track. You got the good history versus Dallas. If you want to go under, you got a lot of history, or you got a lot of information over his last 10 games that supports the under there. But we're going to look at Ingram's 24 and a half points and rebounds and see if that's any better. Maybe we don't have to play his points. We can just play his points and rebounds. Maybe that gives us better chance. ROK. Clint Capella under rebounds and ass. I'm gonna read it the way it's written. Get them rebounds and ass away from me. Yeah, we can look at that one. Tim Hardaway under 3.5. Mr. DraftKings. Okay. Where is he? Did they take it off the board? They took it off the board because of you. If you got it and they took it off the board, sometimes that's a good thing. I mean, too many people were playing it, and Prizepicks realized that it shouldn't have been up there at that line. All right, Clint Capella. We'll put him in here, and then we'll head back. 11 rebounds and assists. You said 11 and a half. Are okay? Got bumped down. All right, we got Embiid, Ingram, Young, and Capella. So we're going to start in Philly. First game on the board. Let's talk about Embiid. Points and assists. It's at 37 and a half. So we already know we're getting a coin flip with our odds at 38 and a half. When we bring this down to 37 and a half, that should shift this in favor of the over. It's not going to change anything with his game logs here because he's still 80% over those 10 games, 80% over his last 5. History against the Rockets. No games this season to speak of, so there's not a whole lot to dig into there. When we look at his projections, he is projected for 39.72. He is projected for 5.78 assists. Wow. 34 points he's projected for tonight. Coming off injury, coming off a lot of days rest. What do y'all think about his points being projected so high? No sample size. So Embiid has never taken 9 days rest, according to this. That's a very, very specific stat. Embiid off 9 days rest scores X amount of points. We don't know. What about Embiid on Mondays? What does Embiid score on Mondays? Does that move the needle for you at all? Embiid on Mondays. Embiid versus the West on Mondays. Oh. We're just making up stats here. Embiid on Mondays versus Western Conference teams is 4 out of 5, and he's averaging 39 PEA in those games. Ironically, the only game he didn't hit this was against Houston. He does have a game against Houston here, but had a bad game against Houston here. So my only concern is, does he need to like knock the rust off a little bit in this game? It seems like a hell of a, like, if you were gonna knock the rust off Embiid, I would have felt like they would bring him back against let me untoggle this shit. Yeah, if you were concerned with knocking the rust off Embiid, I mean, bring him back against Atlanta, Utah, like a team where you know that you're going to handle or you should handle. You're bringing him back against Houston, who has a very good defense, who was contending for a playoff spot in the West or a play-in spot in the West. It's a tougher matchup. It's not the easiest matchup they have on their schedule. So I assume, like, if you're going to bring him back against Houston, he has to be ready to roll. He should be good to go. I just don't know about 34 points. But if you're taking the over 37 PA, he doesn't have to get you 34 points. He can easily get you 30. But now he has to get you 8 assists. Let's be realistic about this. Embiid does have upside of 10 assists. He's in that 5 to 6 range. If Embiid comes out and gets you 6 assists today, he does need to get you 32 points. The more assists he has, the less points he has to score. So first game from injury or whatever he was going through, that's my only concern with Embiid's props today. But you're probably not going to get him at this low of a line for a long time. We already know that as soon as he has a good game, it goes through the roof. Look at LaMelo Ball, 18.5 points first game back. Next game back, 22.5 points. They bumped it up. Atlanta. All right, we're going to look at Clint Capella's 11. Now it's 11, not 11.5 rebounds and assists. Man, 10.5 was getting crazy good numbers. But at 11, I mean, not bad. It doesn't change anything with his game log. Against the Spurs, one game this season, he got 10 rebounds and assists. Splitting time with Okongwu and having Jalen Johnson carve out such a nice role in the front court may be really impacting him. We've seen Capella's minutes drop this season. He's definitely not the same guy. He's lost a step. I think that's safe to say. So 11.5, he got the under on 11.5. I like that a lot better than at 11 because now you just have the push potential for Clint Capella. Trae Young rebounds. No. Trae Young 3-pointers made. So that's a good point, Mike. That's a good point. I'm going to go back. After Trae Young. Okay, so Trae Young, 3-pointers made. He's been under this line in 6 straight. What goes down must come up. Against the Spurs, he's only averaging roughly 2 made. One game this season, he went with 2. Trae Young also played 40 minutes in that game. Took 29 shots. Took 9 threes. 2 for 9 from 3 in that game. So he got his shots. He was just missing them. Yeah, under on Trae Young's 3-pointers. I definitely see that. Man, I don't want to shit all over Trae Young. Like, I definitely don't want to be shitting on Trae Young today. I'm just looking at the game logs. Like, this is what it is. One out of his last 10 games. It is what it is, you know? So it's not good. But I mean, if there's a player that can bounce back and against the Spurs, I mean, it's Trae Young, no doubt. All right, Clint, Trae, BI. We need to look at BI. Not BO. BI. Okay, so we looked at Brandon Ingram's points earlier. Let's look at his points and rebounds. That's set to 24.5. So points, coin flip on the odds, game log here, 6 straight going under. Better history versus the Mavs. Are okay. You were asking under for Ingram. This is what we were looking at earlier. 3 out of 4 games he's gone over against the Mavs. 6 straight games he's gone under against everybody else. Looking at his points and rebounds for Ingram. Okay, we're getting slightly better odds, but we're getting the same result, which tells you that his points and rebounds are heavily influenced by his points. So if he's not scoring, if his shot's not falling, he's not going over points and rebounds, because very rarely is Brandon Ingram going to grab you double digit. Very rarely, if ever, is he going to grab you double digit boards. So if his points aren't falling, shots not falling, he is not going to make up for it in rebounds. So looking at his overs, you're hoping that he has a good shooting night. That way it will help you get the over on all his props, really. PR, PA, PRA, and points. But I actually don't mind the over on this one. Again, plays the Mavericks very well. 3 out of 4 games. 2 games this season, he's gone over this line because his shot was falling, because he was scoring points. Scored 20 points in this game. He scored 25. He scored 25 in that last game versus Dallas. So there you go. BI. Water guns to my head. Go over Embiid 37.5, over BI, under Trey, and water guns to my head. I don't know, man. I'd still roll the dice on the under at Capella, because even if he gets to 11, he pushes it. So think about this. You want to take the over on Capella's 11 rebounds and assists? Then you might as well just take in the over on his 11.5. Because you're saying that he's going to get 12. So if you like the under on 11.5, you're saying he gets 11 or under. Then you got to like the under on this one. And the push is in play. All right, so we'll clear that out. Mr. DraftKings says he does not mess with Embiid. I don't blame you. Embiid's a tough one to get right sometimes, especially when the books are like, take the under on everything. 62 fantasy points, take the under on that, and he has 50 fantasy points at the half. It's infuriating to watch this man go out there and dominate when you got the under. And then you take the over on it, and he wants to like facilitate. He wants to take on the Trae Young role and dish out 10 assists. All right, Mike Wood said Sunday schedule. It's only going to let me play the Monday filter, Mike, but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying for sure. That's interesting though, picking the day, as a split. I think maybe ESPN may allow you to split it down to the actual day, like all 7 days you can take a look. But props.cast only going to allow you to split it on whatever day it is. But Embiid on Mondays versus Western Conference teams, his stat lines look real good. Let's see. Nerd affiliated, what's going on, Steven? What's going on, sir? Tim Hardaway, PRA. Nikita, welcome in. Yeah, we could take a look at that. Tim Hardaway, ATM. Appreciate you. Trey over blocks and steals. Trey Jones under assist. Ole. VanVleet over 8.5 3-pointers attempted. That's an interesting one. VanVleet over. We don't look at a lot of. Honestly, forget that this is even a line. A shot attempt, 3-point attempt. Yeah, that's a different one. Let's take a look at that one. Ramo, what's going on? Kobe White with points and rebounds. We like his points and rebounds. Yeah. Especially because his PRA got bumped up to 28.5, which is still in play because his game logs against Cleveland are strong. Projections look good. Points and rebounds at 23.5. I believe both of these are in play just because we know his upside, and it's possible that he can get you 20 points in this game. Maybe he gets you 24 points and seals the deal with on points alone. Jalen Duren over rebounds and assists, a niche. Oop. Jalen Duren, where'd you get him? Am I spelling his name incorrectly? I am not. He is not on Prizepicks right now. He either got taken off or never was on there. But if you got him on Prizepicks and they took him off, hopefully he's playing today. Hopefully he's playing today. Early game. So if there's some injury news going on in Detroit that we need to know about, we should be getting some updates soon. We got an early start. For Jalen Duren, he is I don't see him. I don't see him on the injury report. I see Jaylen Brown. Jalen Brunson. All the Jalen's except Duren. So we'll skip that one for now. Trey and Trey. We got Trae Young, Trey Jones, and Trey the Truth. Let's put Trey the Truth in there. Trey over blocks and steals. Okay. Got an over for Trae Young. See, we're not 100% against Trae Young. I wonder how he plays on MLK Day, because I feel like the Hawks do have, at least for the last couple of years, they played on MLK, right? Not every team plays MLK. It's not like all teams are in action today. Oh, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No. It is a lot of games today. However, I feel like it's like a bigger deal if you are playing on MLK. So I'm curious how he plays on this holiday. And Trey Jones, right? Trey Jones, what? Trey Jones under assist. All right. So we got VanVleet. Interesting one, man. Interesting one on the VanVleet. I don't mind it. Got Trey and Trey. Jalen Green over 2.5 assists. Andrew, what's going on? Welcome in. Hit that like button on your way in. Helps the channel out a lot. I'm looking for... Oh, there it is. Okay, over. So we got over. I think Kobe White's over. I think he's in play with his over. Got Trae Young over. We're going Trey Jones under assist. Jalen Green will be able to look up Jalen and Fiv at the same time since they're on the same team. I forget that there are 17 Treys or 17 Jalens on this slate. Rock, R-O-K. Is it Rock or R-O-K? Rock Beast? Either way. Cool name. Danny Gafford. 14.5 rebounds and assists. 14.5? Whoa, no. Oh, shit. I saw the Jalen Duren 14.5 rebounds and assists, and I'm like, 14.5 rebounds and assists for Gafford? What the fuck? Take the under on that one. Just got bumped up. Points and rebounds was 17.5. Gafford's rebounds and assists are in play. Points and rebounds got bumped up to 18. Yeah. They know better than to put his blocks and steals up. If they get sneaky with that one and throw that on the board later today, that is in play for the over. Let's see. Okay, so Mike said Detroit's lines haven't been posted yet. So no injury or anything like that. They just haven't been posted. All right, cool. Mike also said Sengun assists better than Jalen Green. We'll look at when we're looking up the Rockets. We'll look. Why did I say it like that? The Rockets. The Rockets. We'll look up Sengun and Green and Fiv. Okay, so Anish said he got it on FanDuel. All right, cool. Yeah, there are other places to play these plays. Prizepicks isn't the only prop site in town. You can get these on DraftKings. You can get these on FanDuel. If your state allows it, you can find these in a lot of different places. Prince 9.5. Okay, over. We talking Tayshaun Prince? Do y'all remember Tayshaun Prince? You got his points at 9.5. Good on you. It's at 10 now. It's at 10. All right. We got 6 here. I cannot put another one because just can't put more than 6. All right. What is this, third round? Headed over to props.cash. Break these down. Let's go. Yeah, I got bumped up ATM like a whole point. So does that make y'all feel good when you play a play, you get it in early, and then it gets bumped up? Does that make y'all feel good? And on the other side, if you play a play and it gets bumped down and you got the higher line, does that make y'all feel like y'all made a mistake? All right, we're already in Houston. Mike said Sengun had 8 assists 2 weeks ago against the Sixers. Yeah, me too, ATM. Not 8 asses. All right. Let's start with this Fred VanVleet 3-point attempt. So we'll look at his 3-pointers made, but then we'll scroll down. Jeez. 24 points on threes alone. We'll scroll down. We'll look at his last 10, not his last 5 against Philly. So that's more, relevant. We don't care about his 3-pointers made. We kind of actually, what do y'all think about this? If a player is hitting his threes, do they take more 3-pointers? Or if a player is cold from 3, do they keep shooting like more? Because you know what they say, shooters got to shoot. The only way you can shoot yourself out of only way to get out of a slump is to shoot yourself out of a slump. So if you're 0 for 4 from 3, you take more threes because you're trying to get back on track, versus if you're hitting your threes, it might be the same. You might just be taking the shot no matter what. But I feel like guys who are missing their shots, they're like, oh, hell no, I can't go out like this. I can't be 0 for 5, and they just keep shooting. Let's see. Packing the Apple Bowl. AOD. All right. Here we go. So Fred VanVleet, we're looking at his over 3-pointers made. He got 4 out of his last 5 games that he has gone over this line with 3-point attempted. 10, 14, 14, 9. 5 out of his last 10. Okay. So there's your last 5. There's your last 10. 3 points attempted. Let's look at Philly's defense versus the 3. Second in the league in 3-pointers allowed or made, and not a very good percentage against them. So is this a situation where Fred VanVleet continues to shoot? So there's Fred VanVleet's 3-point attempt. So a 3-point attempt is not an actual prop to look at on props.cash. We had to scroll down to look at his actual attempts over the last 10 games and kind of see it that way. All right, so we're looking at Sengun assist. -142 on the under. If it's at 4.5, if it's at, I don't know what it is on Prizepicks. Is it at 4, 4.5, or 5? Usually when you see a line that strong in terms of the odds, people are going to hammer the under. So Prizepicks will bump this down to 4 and force you to take the over if it's getting too much movement. But over his last 10 games, Sengun has hit this in 3. He's hooked it in 2. Projection, no projections for Sengun. Not sure why. But that's his last 5 and 10 games. Head-to-head with the 76ers. He did have 8. He had 8 against them on the 29th. So there you go. There's that one game this season that they played in this newish offense, new regime for the Rockets. You know, Sengun is getting stronger usage than he was under Silas. Well, at least it was like that until Tari Eason came back. But he's still a big part of this offense. And you know, a lot of the offense does still run through Sengun. So good matchup between he and Embiid today. All right, who else was it? Jalen Green on the Rockets. We're going Rocket crazy today. Assist. Like the over on Jalen Green's assist, 3 straight games of going over versus Philly, going back to last season. Last game, he gave you 4 assists against the 76ers. Over his last 10, he's hit this in 6 out of his last 10, 3 out of his last 5. Averaging almost 6 assists in those 3 games where he's gone over. No projections either. It's all good. Wait. Yeah, projection. Projections at 3.22 assists. So this does correlate with what we see here on the odds. Have him going over, but not by many. He only needs 3. He doesn't need 10. So still it's still in play. Yeah, not a bad prop for Jalen Green. Kind of under the radar type of prop because I know he likes to shoot. So maybe people look at his points, maybe people look at his PRA. For Jalen Green. So that's a good one. Then we got Trey Jones and Trae Young, the 2 Trays. Going back to Atlanta, Trae Young. This time we're looking at his blocks and steals. Liking the over on this one. Now that looks good. This is not even a fluke, you know. This is pretty consistent over 10 games. 100% hit rate over his last 5, 90 over his last 10. On the season, he has a 56% hit rate, averaging 1.7. So you're not seeing that far of a discrepancy between. You're not seeing a discrepancy at all, in my opinion, between 10-game log, 5-game log, and on the year. All these numbers are right there next to each other. So Trae Young is just very consistent when it comes to steals and blocks. That's a strong one right there. I like that one. Trey Jones, we're in the same game. Looking at his steals and blocks, just in case you wanted to see that. But we're looking at his assist. Under. So we like the under on this one, getting the supporting data 2 out of his last 10 games. He's hooked it in 2 games, so he's gotten really, really close. Last game against Atlanta, he did dish 7 assists back on the 30th. And I'm curious about this. Trey Jones minutes in that game, he played 24 minutes. I was curious to see if he got like a lot more minutes than that, because the Spurs still don't have a true point guard. Like they're still moving pieces around. They don't have that guy yet. He's not on his team. But yeah, like he had that stretch. I remember like he got a ton of minutes. So he got a ton of minutes against Milwaukee, Cleveland. 27 is not bad. 27, but then you see a drop off and then back to 32. So his minutes are super inconsistent. That's another thing with the Spurs. Like Pop doesn't give a shit about your playing time. Like whatever is going to help the win, whatever is going to help the team. I mean, he'll play you 17 minutes in one game, and then because the matchup calls for it, he'll play you 30 the next game. So you always got to factor that into the player props for guys on the Spurs. But this one looks good for the under. You're getting a lot of good game logs here, and then you got the odds. And then in terms of your projections, if you care about those, he's only projected for 5 assists. So yeah, real quick, Kobe White's in play again. He's not getting the best odds with his points and rebounds at 23.5. But because of the line bump to his PRA, I think that does make this in play by default. You got your game logs here. Your head-to-head matchup with the Cleveland Cavaliers, points and rebounds. This is the only game that's relevant. These 3 games were last season, different role, different usage rate. Points and assists, same thing, slightly better. Goes over in his last game against Cleveland and then over his last 10. Getting better odds on his points and assists. These 2 stats are identical, 23.5. So pick your poison with his points and assists or points and rebounds, or go with his PRA at 28, which is a little higher. All right. Knocked them all out. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Let's see. Oh, man. Joel Embiid over dunks. Yes. I mean, shit. He needs 2. He needs 2 in this game. We had some success yesterday with Aaron Gordon dunks. 1.5 dunks. He had like 3 in the first half. Yeah, because Joel Embiid plays so close to the rim, I definitely see the dunks in play. Now, I learned this yesterday. Dunks is not a prop that you can actually look at history unless you do this. So even though you don't have, I got this from Ken in the Discord. He gave us this tip yesterday on how to look at player props that don't have a game log. They don't have a visible game log, like dunks don't have anything. Field goal attempts, what you do is you pull up that player's name, you just click on any one of their player props and then just slide it over. Well, shit, never mind. I feel stupid. I thought it was going to work for field goal attempts. Maybe it just works for dunks. Yeah, well, at least it works for dunks. So there's his dunks over his last 5 games played. 3, 2, 0, 0, and 1. So yeah, he does go games without dunking. I mean, I guess it's in play. It's a little risky. If you want to throw that in a flex, I wouldn't put that in the power play. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, Damian, good point. You can look at the dunk average. Like, you got to Google it. So you always have that option to kind of research it on another site, another platform. Kane, what's going on? Welcome in. Wemby over rebounds. Scotty Barnes, PRA. Jabari Smith, Ramo. Jesus, welcome in. Ramo, welcome in. Like button. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Has DeMar DeRozan ever had a dunk prop? I feel like if there was ever a prop to take the under on, that would be a great one. Because talking about mid-range. But you do have to worry about those fast breaks, those like putback, those offensive rebounds, a quick putback, you know. A dunk can happen out of nowhere, but, you know, you can kind of look at the player and kind of figure it out. Jabari Smith has a dunk prop of 0.5, but Jabari Smith over PA. 15.5. All right, I think this will be the last round of player props we do. I don't know what the hell that was. PRA for Scotty Barnes against the Celtics, 30.5. They took his 3-pointers off. They were at 1.5. That was also a good one. Those are early props. Not every prop that they put on the board early are worth playing. Some of them are sucker props. A lot of them are bullshit props. They're not good. But in the mix of all that, you will find a good prop here and there, and then they will get taken off the board. So they mix in, you know, like 1 to 4 is the ratio. Like 4 shit props, 1 good prop. You just got to weed through them all. You find something super early and you like it, lock it in. I guarantee you it will not be there when you wake up in the morning. Wemby over rebounds. You still like his rebounds with the bump. They were at 9.5. See, I did it again. Wemby. Prizepicks doesn't know my slang. So his rebounds were bumped from 9.5 to 10. Yeah, Wemby's blocks are in play as well. Why did I do that? Wemby's blocks are in play. Liked his blocks, and I like his blocks and steals. Dub Nation, what's going on? Welcome in. Mitchell rebounds and assists under. All right, we might have enough to roll with this round of props. Rebounds and assists under 13. All right. Let's take Joel Embiid's dunks off there. You got Smith. Points and assists. I'm assuming you like the over on this one. Scotty Barnes. We don't have an over-under on this one yet. We'll hit over, and we'll change it after looking at the information. If we like the under, we'll flip it. We'll flip all these if need be. All right. Let's do it. Last round of player props. Kicking things off. Man, we are going through a lot of Houston Rockets today. Listen, we're already in Cleveland and Chicago. I'm going to start with Donovan Mitchell's rebounds and assists. It just makes more sense to start here since we're already on the same game. Looking at his rebounds and assists, he is at 13 on Prizepicks. He's at 13.5. This got bumped down at some point. There's his 10-game log. He's gone 5 out of his last 10. He's gone 2 out of his last 5. Head-to-head matchup with the Chicago Bulls. He has hit this in 3 out of his last 4 games. None of these games are from this current season, so take what you want from that. You want to take a look at Donovan Mitchell's rebounds and assists today, projection of 12.29. So that does fall under the 13 and 13.5. But at 13.5, you're getting minus 140 odds. I don't know what it does when you adjust the line to 13. Definitely doesn't change anything with his 10 and 5 games, but it will adjust the odds. You will have odds slightly more in favor of the over with that line adjustment to 13. Chicago's defense is not that great. Bottom of the league-ish in rebounds and assists allowed, but you are getting this. 13 is definitely more palatable for Donovan Mitchell. But if you're looking at the under, or if you got it at 13.5, that's great. Looking at the under on 13, it's still playable. Donovan Mitchell scares me though. He's who said it earlier? They don't mess with Embiid. I don't mess with Donovan Mitchell. That dude, I always seem to miss his props. But there's your information. There's your 10 and 5 games. There are your projections here. Chicago defense rankings there. All right. There you go. Let's do, we'll go back to Houston. We'll look up Jabari Smith, JSJ real quick. Looking at his points and assists. 15.5. No change in the line there. I don't know if you're looking at over or under, but on the screen you see his odds minus 125 to the under, minus 105 to the over. 3 out of his last 5, 4 out of his last 10. He has that huge upside. And then he has this also. Jabari Smith does not discriminate at going under or over his props. He does it all. Only 2 games to speak of were from last season, 17 and 12. He didn't play against the 76ers back in December. And if you're interested in projections, there are none. Philly's defense allowing a little worse than the league average. They're allowing quite a few rebounds per game, but in terms of assists, top 10 in fewest assists allowed, and then they are top 10 in fewest points allowed. With Embiid back in the shuffle today, maybe this is an under day for Jabari Smith. All right, we got Smith down. We got I got Mitchell down. We'll go Scotty Barnes, and then we'll go back to San Antonio and Atlanta and take a look at Wemby, and then we'll call it. So Toronto and Boston, this is a home game. Scotty Barnes, you're looking at his PRA. Jesus, you're looking at the over or under here for his PRA. Minus 104 on the over, minus 122 on the under. 45 PRA against Boston, his last game back on the 29th. These are all games played against Boston. These 3 games are from this season, 19, 23, and 45. Take a look at his last 10 games played. He's gone over this in 5 out of his last 10, but only 1 out of his last 5. So, like, polar opposite results here. Definitely it's cooled off. Boston's defense, top 10 in points allowed, fewest points allowed, top 10 in fewest assists allowed. Giving up a pretty healthy three-pointers made average there, and then right at the league average in terms of three-point percentage. In terms of points, they are top 10 in fewest points allowed as well. Take a look at Scottie Barnes' projections. Projected for 30.91 PRA. That's 0.41 over projection. So projected for 31 PRA, basically. Cutting it real close with his PRA. Getting slightly better projections for his PR, his PA, and then his points. Blocks and steals is sitting at 2.4. 3 turnovers. I mean, looking at all these projections, you could look to play his fantasy points. 3-pointers were in a really good spot. The prop was at 1.5. It's projected for 2 for Scottie Barnes. So Scottie Barnes, based off this information, is looking pretty good. Scottie Barnes at home. If you want to factor in home splits, Scottie Barnes at home, better numbers, better average, better points scored, averaging 39 PRA at home, 42 PRA over his last 5, as opposed to being on the road. This drops incredibly low, 30 and 25. So if you want to take advantage of Scottie Barnes being at home, despite the matchup with the Celtics being a tough one, you have all that information to look at to support taking the over on his 30.5 PRA. All right, last Wemby prop, we're looking at his blocks. So this one is set to 2.5 on Prizepicks, -122 over, -104 under. Gone over this in 70% of his last 10 games, 60 over his last 5. He's not just getting the over, he's getting the over and then some. It's like 2 games worth of blocks in these games. 5, 6, 5. I mean, even 4 blocks in the game is strong. That's 4 blocks, not 4 blocks and steals. Blocks and steals are at 3.5. That's even better. So, in my opinion, his blocks and steals are always in play. Doesn't mean he'll always get them. He's just his wingspan, his range, his style of play. We've seen him block perimeter shots starting in the paint. He's in the paint and he closes out and blocks a 3-point shot. We've seen that happen. A fingertip on the ball counts as a block. He doesn't have to send that shit into the stands. A fingertip on a deflection is a block. As long as it's a shot. A deflection on a shot is a block. So it doesn't have to be prolific. He just has to disrupt the shot. So this is really in play. I like the over on both the steals and blocks for wembanyama. So going back to Prizepicks. So based off what we just saw, under on Jabari Smith, over on Scottie Barnes, over on Wemby's rebounds. We didn't look at those, but these have been bumped up to 10. At 9.5, you're getting them at incredibly favorable odds of -142. If you want to take the over at 10, I mean, it's still in play because he needs 10 to get over 9.5. He still needs 10 to push, but he will need 11 to go over. So just keep that in mind. 70% hit rate, only a 40% hit rate over his last 5 games for wembanyama. Projected for 10.42 rebounds. So he's projected for the push. He will need to get you 11 rebounds for the over with the increased line. So based off that, we'll go with the over on his rebounds, over on blocks, and over on blocks and steals. And then looking at the under on Donovan Mitchell's rebounds and assists, me personally, I'm undecided on this one. Like I said, I just can't seem to get his props right. But if you saw enough information on that screen to take the under on it, I mean, your decision is well supported. So there you go. That's our last round of player props. I'm going to pop back into the chat real quick and see what we got before we sign out. Let's see. Oh, shit. Embiid is questionable now, Damian. Well, damn. Well, damn. Well, shit, if Embiid's questionable and he ends up not playing, then you might want to look at some overs for Jabari Smith and Sengun. I mean, you got Paul Reed and who the hell else is playing center? Batum? Paul Reed, Batum, is Bamba there? Who the hell else is playing center? I think he plays today. All right. Our fantasy scores up. Fantasy scores, not all up. So they're starting to put them up on the board now. I don't like any of these. I'm not touching any of these fantasy scores. If Embiid gets ruled out, this gets bumped, this gets bumped, this gets bumped, this gets bumped. Looks like this one was bumped already. Looks like these two were bumped already. You don't open up your line at a 0.0. So this one got bumped up for some reason. Oh, he's a game time decision. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Sergio, we don't know Ingram's fantasy points yet. They're not up on the board. But we know that he plays Dallas really well. Good game logs against Dallas. Over points in back-to-back games. Over points and rebounds in back-to-back games. Murray points. DeJounte Murray's points. Juice to the under. 3 out of his last 10, he's gone over. 2 out of his last 5, he's gone over. No games this season to look at. Projected for 20.67 points. Man, the books are really not books. Projections are not liking the Hawks today in a lot of these offensive categories. I will say use your best judgment if you feel like those are flawed. Definitely always go with what you want. It is a really good matchup for the Hawks. And what time is that game? 2:30. So, not sure. I don't know, like, were these guys out partying last night? Is that why their projections are so bad? Were they out getting fucked up? Playing the Spurs, man, at home. I wonder if their back-to-back losses to the Pacers and the Wizards have anything to do with the way they're being projected today. Each game is different. You can't look at that and say, oh, if they lost to this team, they're going to lose to this team. That's not how sports works. But it's got to be a reason why these projections are not in favor of the over. What say you? Like, I have no idea. But that's DeJounte Murray's points breakdown for his 10 games. Marking in rebounds for Ole. Ole Vakulenko. 3 straight games of 9+, -128 on the over for marking his rebounds. 5 out of his last 10, 3 out of his last 5. Head-to-head matchup with the Indiana Pacers have treated him well, but we got to go back a couple of years. So that game doesn't really hold as much relevance. Looking at his projections today, sitting at 9.32. So looking like a push here. They're at 9 on Prizepicks. They bumped this up to 9. It's only getting -128 odds. 8.5. If we get it at 8.5, that's a great play for marketing. At 9, the push is just more in play. Khalil Bryant, what's going on, man? What's going on to you? I have a bad habit of every time I see a name in the chat, I assume it's a male. That's why I'm always like, what's going on, man? If I'm incorrect, correct me in the chat, please. It's an ignorant habit of mine. Just assume everybody's a dude. Apologies. Tim Hardaway, PRA. There's Tim Hardaway's PRA. Coin flip on his odds. Gone over this in 2 out of his last 10, 1 out of his last 5. Head-to-head matchup with the Pels. 0 for 3. 0 for 1 this season, I should say, but 0 for 3 over his last 3. Luka, I guess we should confirm. Luka's doubtful. Derek Jones is doubtful. Mo Bamba's doubtful. D'Anthony Melton is out now. Okay. You want to see Tim Hardaway's numbers without Luka? He's been playing without Luka over the last 10 games, so I don't think it'll change too much. But the last 5 games played without Luka, he's gone over in 2 out of those 5 games. Yeah, a lot of these were already in the original screen that you saw, so it doesn't change a whole lot. 30.5 PRA for Tim Hardaway. Kind of a coin flip with his odds. Let's see. Yeah, Andrew. Memphis' starting 5 is no longer their starting 5. They're just grabbing bodies from the G League at this point. All right, Andrew. Curry assist. I think this will do it. All right. Appreciate y'all sticking around for this entirety of the stream. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Curry assists, if they're at 5, looks better at 5 than it does 5.5 because he's gone over 5.5 7 out of his last 10 games. But when you drop it down to 5, it does give you a push. So he's only gone under in 2 versus 3 if it were bumped up to 5.5. Head-to-head matchup with the Memphis Grizzlies. I understand the logic behind this one too, because if Draymond is playing today, that does pull the ball out of Curry's hands a lot, you would think. So assist opportunities will go down with that. He is projected for 5.84 assists today. I guess wait and see if Draymond is starting tonight and they're on the floor at the same time. I definitely feel like, Curry's not going to be in as many opportunities to assist. They're bringing him off the bench. I don't know. he's still going to have his hands on the ball. And I'm sure at some point they will be on the court together. So even if they bring Draymond off the bench, it's not like he and Draymond are going to be like passing ships in the night and shit. They'll be on the floor together. If you want to take the under on his 5 assists, there you go. If you want to take the over on his 5 assists, that looks a lot better, sitting at 5 than it is 5.5. Hope that helps. All right. I think we are good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for stopping by, checking this stream out. Very long stream. It's impossible for me to keep these streams under an hour. I would have to just rush everything and not give it its respect and give you guys the time. So we'll keep rolling these streams out, and hopefully I can answer all your questions and answer as many as you have in the chat. And if I don't get to it in the chat, then definitely hit me up in the Discord. Link will be in the video or stream description here. Hit the Discord up, ask me a question, throw it in the Discord. If I can't get to it, somebody else will get to it. And also, we do have the props.cash bot in the Discord. So light version of what you saw the props.cash on props.cash today. But you are able to player search on the bot and look at the 10-game log. You can't go any deeper than that, but it is a nice start. Gives you some exposure to props.cash, and it's free. So check it out in a free player prop Discord. I'll put that link in the stream description. But again, appreciate everybody. Appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck with all your player props today. And I'll try to put a couple slips in there for y'all to follow or not follow, if that's what you choose to do. But tomorrow's live stream, 8:25 a.m. Be here. I will be here. And hopefully we got some wins and some cool slips to celebrate on tomorrow's stream. Happy MLK to everybody. Enjoy the day. Enjoy a lot of basketball, NFL playoffs. Going to be a fun day for everybody. Until tomorrow's NBA player prop live stream, Chavez is out.